Tonight, Tracy Ferguson speaking out because her 31-year-old son, DJ, can't. He's waiting on a heart transplant, but is being denied because he won't get the COVID vaccine.
My son's in the hospital, and he needs a heart transplant.
She says DJ has been fighting for his life at Brigham and Women's Hospital, but she says he's been told he's not eligible due to hospital policy.
I couldn't believe it. And then he said to the doctor, "So you're going to let me die?"
So we got another ridiculous pandemic story here. A Boston hospital denied heart transplant to a man who hadn't gotten the COVID-19 vaccine. The hospital said a vaccine is just one of many criteria for a new heart. So this is another level of insanity with COVID-19. Big Pharma's greed has come to the point where we have a system where they're denying people medical procedures because they haven't taken an experimental vaccine to deal with something that has a very small death rate. The family of a Boston man is speaking out after they said their 31-year-old son was struck from a wait list for a heart transplant because he was not vaccinated against COVID-19. DJ Ferguson, who was diagnosed with arrhythmia 4 years ago, was admitted to Brigham and Women's Hospital after suffering heart failure this winter. His parents told ABC News. But after reviewing Ferguson's medical history, which showed he had not received a coronavirus shot, hospital staff told Ferguson that his vaccination status made him ineligible for a new heart, according to his parents. Tracy and David Ferguson insisted their son does not oppose vaccines. He's just worried the COVID-19 shot would complicate his heart condition, they said. And this is the parents talking. He's not an anti-vaxxer. He has all of his vaccines, and he's an informed patient who is concerned because of his current cardiac crisis. And then the article is going to go on to list, the prevailing narrative around vaccines and risk for heart inflammation from COVID versus vaccines and beyond, blah, 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 blah. We're now denying people needed health care because they don't have an experimental vaccine. Now you're going to tell me, oh, they want to give it to someone who has the vaccine because that person has a higher percentage of living. Therefore, they're giving the heart to the person with the higher percentage of surviving, which makes sense. I guess you could make that argument, but we're really going to start denying people. We're denying people access to places. We're talking about denying people jobs, schooling, basically the rights of a normal citizen. And now we're also going to deny them health care. Should we replace fat people's hearts? Should we replace someone who needs a heart transplant because they've been smoking a ton? Should we replace someone's heart because they, had a horrible diet their whole life? Because were raging out and gave themselves a heart attack? This is a very, very crazy step too in the medical field, because you're not supposed to make judgment calls on people's decision making for their health. Like, oh, you're an anti-vaxxer, therefore you don't deserve this heart. I don't know. This just doesn't bode well when we're denying people health care because they don't take something that isn't even approved by the FDA. It's experimentally approved. Insane. And the FDA is regulatorily captured by Big Pharma anyway. The very corporations they are supposed to be watchdogging and regulating are who they are indeed serving. This is a very disturbing development. I'm scared a lot more things like this are going to be happening in the future.